everyone, it's Hayes, and today we are going to be discussing theories for episode 23 of Miraculous Ladybug season 4, Kuro Neko, and we're going to be theorising about the episode from the title alone because I like making myself cry.
This is the worst!
So if you didn't know, although I think all of you do by now, Kuro means black in Japanese, probably said that wrong, and Neko means cat, so black cat, which I think is an obvious reference to Cat Noir. However, the majority of the episodes are named after the Akuma or the Senti monster, with the only exceptions I think so far being Mayura in season 2 and Felix in season 3. So it's more than likely also going to be the name of the Akuma villain or Senti monster, rather than it just referring to being an episode about Cat Noir. However, that's not to say I don't think the episode could have a double meaning, for example like in Soul Crusher. I definitely think episode 22, before it's the infamous episode 100, Cat Noir finally tells Ladybug how he's been feeling and they get into a huge argument and we will all probably cry. Then in this episode, Ladybug realises the mistake she's made with not trusting him more, and he hopefully sees his own self-worth too. We saw in Rocketeer and Wishmaker just how much he was devaluing himself, so I hope in this episode he sees how much he's truly needed, but with the information we have right now, I'm not sure how that will exactly come about. Like I said, we only have the title. So maybe Mariner is unable to attend the fight immediately and he is the one in charge, which I'd absolutely love to see. And going on from that, I also hope Adrian realises his own self-worth outside of being Cat Noir. We know he confronts his dad in the finale, and I think in order for him to do that, he needs to think more of himself as a person than he currently does. To me, it seems that right now Adrian has really low self-esteem. So, is this episode going to have an Akuma or a Senti monster? What is the Kuro Neko referring to? And I'm not sure. My first thought was that this was going to be a Cat Noir Senti monster, but the Senti monster is always named after the person it's created after. So for example, Senti Bug, Senti Alex, Senti Nino, Senti Bubbler. So it makes me want to say Kuro Neko is not going to be a Senti monster of Cat Noir. However, I do think it's more likely to be a Senti monster in comparison to an Akuma, just instinct based, no real evidence for that. And I think it could just be a Senti monster of a black cat, as the title says. What the function of it could be, I'm not sure, other than it being super cute. We all know black cats in the show symbolise bad luck, as they do in many cultures, and Ladybug is also good luck, the opposite. However, one of you mentioned in the comments that in Japan, black cats actually symbolise good luck, so maybe this black cat, whilst wreaking havoc in Paris, shows Adrian his true worth since it symbolises good luck in Japan. I found this online about it, and it says black cats help single women attract a good suitor, so maybe some romance will play into this episode with Ladybug, but I'm not sure how deep I should be reading into the meaning of black cats in Japan, and the pun in the title of this article makes it sound like Adrian wrote it, so I'm not even sure if this is a reliable source, to be honest. The final thing I want to talk about though for this episode is the language of the title itself. Why is it in Japanese? I wouldn't usually question this, but this is the second episode this season with a Japanese title, the other being episode 16 Hakusan. And as we know, we have two Japanese characters in the show, Kagami and her mum, Tomo. So I made a previous video discussing the candidates about who might find out Shadow Daddy's identity in episode 9, Daddy Aggressed. I concluded the most obvious suspect was Lila, and also named Ed Sheeran as a suspect. If you want to know more about that, then I guess you'll have to watch the full video, I'll link it down below for you. But I think Tomo could be a good ally too. And I also think Ed Sheeran would be too, like come on, he'd be great in the show. Tomo is already good friends with Gabriel, so they already have a relationship together, and we saw in episode 10 Megaleech that the oxygen tower has the Saragi logo on it, and Daddy Aggress made the advert for it, so they're definitely working together in this season in some capacity. Perhaps Tomo is planning with Gabriel and Natalie like behind the scenes for future Senti monsters and Akuma, if she is the one who finds out his identity in episode 9. If she isn't the one to find out, then I am really curious to know why these Japanese names were picked for these two episodes, since it is kind of suspicious. Of course, this could also point to Kagami finding out Daddy Aggress's identity, but I really doubt it. You all know I don't like Kagami, but she is on the good side in the show. I think if she found out who Shadow Daddy was, she'd tell everyone immediately. She wouldn't keep this a secret. So that's all I got from the title, which is a lot more than I expected to get. Not me overanalyzing 2 words like the PhD student I am. I'd love to know what you think is going to go down in this episode from the title alone, since we know nothing else. And I'll see you in the next one.